Two media stories, two miraculous stories of COVID recovery. Now, if you're looking for info on the treatment that saved the lives in these incredible tales, don't count on the press. The write-ups in the Washington Post and a local New Jersey paper credit the power of prayer. Believe me, we're all for the power of prayer and a little luck. But my next guest says that's not the whole story and says that the media, well, they're covering up the fact that those people, those patients, made their stunning recoveries while taking the drug hydroxychloroquine. Dr. Stephen Smith, founder of the Smith Center for Infectious Diseases and Urban Health, the man behind those two life-saving treatments, joins me now. Dr. Smith, what's the motivation for leaving out the fact in these media accounts that both patients were put on doses of HCQ?
Hey, hello, Laura. Good evening. Actually, there's a third even report in the press about patients that got better. Our patients, my team and myself took care of that. We used hydroxychloroquine. Two of them, the New Jersey News one, and the third one, actually were seen by another team first, infectious disease team. I can't really imagine why. I mean, the piece in the Washington Post, that's a patient I went to bat for and put my career on the line for. That's the patient I referred to earlier when I talked about having fights with the administration at the hospital I was working at, and having fights with them about using the dose that was recommended by the French group. They wanted me to stop it after 2,400 milligrams hydroxychloroquine. I don't know the motivation. I can't speak to it. I can tell you that in the WAPO the article's photo, half those people never saw the patient. It was actually the reward, of course, for being a doctor is not press. And with a name like Smith, I don't really care about my name being out there. I do care that they're not talking about the truth. And the truth is that woman and the other two patients were men. Yeah. Both got high doses of hydroxychloroquine.
They both got high doses of hydroxychloroquine. They both recovered. Neither fact was reported in the press. Now, Dr. Smith, the New England Journal of Medicine just released a study claiming that among patients who were not undergoing mechanical ventilation at the baseline, those in the hydroxychloroquine group had a higher frequency of invasive mechanical ventilation or death. In other words, another negative study, supposedly, or review of hydroxy. Your response?
I mean, it's the recovery trial. That's the Great Britain trial. That's a trial that got all the fanfare when it came out saying dexamethasone saves lives. That same study on the dexamethasone part of it said that if you weren't on oxygen and you got dexamethasone, you did worse, statistically significantly worse. That's inconsistent and doesn't make sense to me. So there's problems with the recovery trial. I'm trying to figure them out. But I do also know they did not use azithromycin, which we try to use in our patients. Not all of our patients get azithromycin because the doctors won't give it a lot. If a patient's in the ICU, they'll sometimes restrict the use of azithromycin. But I was stunned by that. They have inconsistent results, and our results are not inconsistent, and I'll show those data in full later. But we know that patients that get hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin at a higher dose. I said high dose. I should correct that. The dose that's recommended by the French regimen and the dose that we use, or a total dose, is much lower than any lupus woman takes in 1 month.
Yeah, so again, Dr. Smith, and also these people in this recovery study were given the hydroxychloroquine late in the disease. Yeah, they were already mechanically being ventilated. So that everyone has to understand this as a prophylaxis or early after you test positive or early. That's where people have seen better results. Obviously, Dr. Smith, that's where you've seen the best results. People have to understand what they're looking at here. I got to tell you another thing, Dr. Smith. I'm so glad you're on tonight because the media are refusing to report good news about the recent trends we're seeing for COVID. For example, according to the CDC's latest figures, COVID hospitalizations are decreasing. We're putting it up on the screen for all age groups, especially for those 65 and over. Now, look at this. What does this tell you about where we are with the pandemic? Look at those lines for every age group, and especially the older Americans. Dr. Smith.
Well, like I said, doctors are best at not trying to predict things, but following the past. Our experience in the New York area, New Jersey, New York area, was about a 9-week pandemic. And I assumed, based on not knowledge, but experience, that our area wouldn't be any different than other areas.
All right, Dr. Smith, wonderful to see you tonight. Sorry we got a hop, but fascinating on the patients that you treated and what the press is leaving out about these seemingly miraculous recoveries.